Hello, welcome. Today is the 12th day of October 2017. My name is Derek. Let's do a video entitled towards that of Litecoin. Everything you do is within your own risk and your own reward. Going through this information, it's very important for myself to go through it because I'm at a situation where I have to make a decision how I'm going to play the holdings left in Litecoin, because what I stated many days ago, a week and a half or such, when really I first figured out what Bitcoin was and really how similar it is to a Bitcoin Cash, that I thought it would be a good idea to start to distribute the alternate coins, which is another way of selling, and to accumulate Bitcoins, which is another way of saying buying. So sell alts, buy bits. Okay then. And I've been doing such, and since I said that, I've had a few days last night. I've traded 3 or 4 night days. One day buying, every day other than that was selling. And let's go over the crypto market capitalization as we see Bitcoin in at about 51.91, up 8.43%. Let's adjust these prices to Bitcoin. So Ethereum's down 6.5% against the Bitcoin cross over the last 24 hours. I have sold out since I stated on the channel that I was doing such, selling alts and buying Bitcoin. I have sold about 75-80% of my Ethereum. I had already sold out of my Ripple when I stated that. I sold out of my Bitcoin Cash 100% of such, and I did so a few days ago. I think 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Litecoin, maybe 15-20%. I really haven't sold much of it. Dash, I've been a little light with too, but I've sold out of close to half of it. Got out of an okay amount, when I stated it. And again, another time a couple days ago again as well. I should have sold it. I mean, this pattern looked like, oh, maybe it might have done okay. Probably a bad part or bad play in my part. NEM didn't have any anyway. Neo I sold out a while ago. Monero I've sold out 1/3 to 1/2. IOTA don't own. BitConnect don't own. Ethereum Classic I've sold it all. Mies Go I got rid of it yesterday. And all these other ones are much smaller. Zcash, I sold it all out as well. So therefore, and then a lot of these smaller ones. I mean, PivX, I have a decent size holding in PivX right now. And for good reason. But for most of it, Komodo, again, for good reason. But I got to get out of Komodo too. I really do. I mean, they're all free tokens in my end. But just because they're free doesn't mean... I mean, you almost got to look at a good capital gains like they're all doing well for you, and they're all part of your portfolio in place. Anyway, I got to probably maybe get rid of some Litecoin. I mean, only if the message of the market tells me to, because I know that there is no way I could watch the market get into here and twiddle my thumbs with my holding and say, oh, I'm just going to hope for the best. No, that's not how it works with me. I'd have to make sure that I either do it in advance, selling at a higher price, expecting an event like that to occur, or let the market tell me. I mean, I come from the school of thought, you come down to the slow and you have a good gain. Sweet. That means that low becomes a buy spot. This was a buy area. It worked out. I mean, easy good gains. And because this was a good gain, this becomes a buy spot again. Big reason why I'm pretty reluctant to sell. The little bits, the only time I sold would have been somewhere in here. I would have sold a little bit, and I haven't sold any since. Let's take a look at this on the 60-minute picture because it does paint it well. Obviously, I'm going to deem this move range bound since the spring season started this year, the last few months, with a range of around 20 basis points and 10 basis points. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame. And this is brewing a very, very sweet, what I consider to be a reliable pattern of brewing, either bullishly or bearishly. Let's explain why. This market, which had this big fall, managed to establish its support in here. Now, as I stated at the intro, I've had like three to four selling spots and one buying spot since I stated I'm basically bearish on altcoins. The only buying spot occurred when all this was happening to the altcoins. I was like, are you serious? Yeah, it would have been the 9th. It really would have been in this low point in here. I was getting to the point where they're just down too much. So I literally bought like 20 altcoins. Just like, I was like picking like whatever. I mean, you could almost take a dartboard's what I was thinking to myself. Just buy anything and then sell it later on. And I sold some of it for gains. And then last night I sold some of it for micro gains and micro losses. Overall for probably a gain, but I didn't calculate. Don't need to. Anyway, the pattern. So after this move, you've had your correctionary phase. Because if you've heard people talk about you got to let the market settle down after a big move. Yeah, of course you do. How do I define settling down? How do I define a big move? Well, I mean, a big move should be easy. Candles get big, no brainer. Settling down is when this 18 average, if of course this thing expands big, which oftentimes it does. It really didn't do so much in here. But the 18 average size is normal. It's trading within it in any type of normal facets. That's settle. And a good amount of time. This is a very sweet job of settling down. More than it needed to. Which makes the play stronger. Or the setup stronger. Resistance established here. And then a little bit again in here. Support established here. And then again in towards this little circular area as well here. Okay. Therefore, this is the break of this key support area. Now I've talked, this is almost the exact same type of look of Bitcoin from before. You break a very key area and have a noticeable leg lower, which is noticeable here. Close to the previous low, which is also important in itself as well. And then you have a quick move back to this 18 average. So then, bearish reason, or the bear case and the bull case. Here's the bear case. When you're in these down situations, lower highs, lower lows, we'll consider this that lower low. And this is a pretty poor lower high if it's going to be such. I mean, it's really bad. Then what's going to happen is you have on a short-term level, you're going to break this level, come back to it here, and then you're going to roll over. When you come back here again, you're probably not going to do so well. Boom. And you're going to have a big, big down move. And ain't going to be good for those people involved, at least on the short-term time frame. It's not going to be fun. Trying to do a little South Park analogy, which was really bad from like a ski trip episode. I got an image in my head that I'm trying. It's not going to be a good time kind of deal. When the episode was talking about failing within your skiing, basically, when you're falling. So as a trader, for me, I will be I'll be selling if I see the price action into below this line, below the 1015 handle and above the 100. But in between here is where I'll be basically selling if the price action gets there. And then again, on that break of that key support that I was showing on the daily time frame, I'll probably go for another set of orders to sell because that's a bearish setup. That's the bear case. Now let's go over the bull case, because I've seen this with Bitcoin before, and I've seen this with a lot of other charts for years. It's one of my favorite patterns. And as I mentioned about this key support, you break below it, you go through fast. on a down leg like this, that if you're able to enter this band really quickly, check mark. And then you can quickly after that leave the 18 average of highs. Well, what would I define quickly after that? Within 3, 4, 5 periods from now. It's 10:14 in the morning as I am saying this. So that would work out to like 3 in the afternoon. So within the intraday session, if you are seeing price action above the 1045 handle, 1043 handle even, then the setup for that failed breakdown is getting stronger. It really doesn't come into effect until it is able to leave the 18 average highs and resistance, meaning in a situation of getting up here, the 18 average is going to start to rise, especially if you're on period 3, 4 from now, like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. And then when you start to see any type of moves that get up towards the upper end of this established resistance, then you would be talking about this large area here of markets coming back to where it came from. It really didn't come much from here, because when you fall through here, it could very easily have a big move up towards that point. This is the reason why I am letting the message of the market let me know with better probability this thing is going to go down, and for, of course, at cost, meaning instead of selling in here, I'm going to be selling, well, down towards here. Now, overall, there's going to be times I'm going to be wanting to be buying these alternate coins, but I probably don't want to acquire a larger position because I mentioned I sold all of these other coins. I plan on buying them all back, but I don't think I'm going to do it until after the fork and the Bitcoin gold comes into play. Therefore, as of now, I am going to be deeming for myself any rallies that do occur over the next 3 weeks or so guilty until proven innocent, unless something can within the contrary of Bitcoin, gold, or the reason why the market's being bearish should be reversed. I'm going to think they're all going to be guilty. Meaning, when I was buying in here, I knew that they were guilty, but I also realized that they were probably still going to have at least a bounce, which is why I thought it was a good idea to buy on this way down and sell in here. Well, I was going to say, I could show you Bitcoin Cash. It had a good gain for me when I did it, yada, yada. But this is a video exclusive to Litecoin, and I've covered all of the short-term stuff. So now to finish this video off, I want to go over long-term and the US dollar cross. And within the weekly, it's obviously showing the range I talked about between 10 and 20. Breaking here. That could be pretty deadly. A lot of fast moves. There's not really any areas in which it came from. And then long term, when it gets past this level, it's not much here. And then you go to this early stage here. Now you're talking about new highs breaking past, making this a very interesting situation. And therefore, I'm going to now put in the US cross and then end the video. This is the Tether exchange within Poloniex on the weekly time frame, and you can say it's holding in well within this 18 average. Although you got the warning sign of this failed breakout, if of course in the next few weeks price action goes below 30-ish or so. But like any bull market chart, once you get out past this 18 average, like in here, you're off to, that's a good pattern. That's a good bullish setup. Anyway, let's take a look at this on the daily. And this is getting a little neutral. I was going to say choppy, but it's not choppy. It's becoming very, very neutral. This support level in here at about 35 or so, they're pretty big. I think if it comes down to it, I think the play normally, when I look at any type of chart, I mean, these numbers are only important for your volatility purposes. The code doesn't really mean anything to me. You can just ignore it. Even the time frame, other than how long the transitional play will take, doesn't mean anything. It's all about, you have a situation come here. This could be the daily chart. This could be a 5-minute time frame. It's the same thing either way. It's going to take a few periods after it comes here to most likely come back somewhere in here. That's usually the play. Whether it goes higher from there or not, I'm never going to state because I don't know. But I know that's what the play would do on both a bullish and bearish scenario. Because usually if this breaks down from here, I normally would expect it to do this play, and then I'd parlay it with a lower high rally, and then I would, and at this point it's going to sell off without making, of course, a higher high, which means in here it would just keep going lower, or maybe do another smaller play, something like that. But the thing is, I would expect if it comes down here, it's a decent play to, of course, buy and then sell in this range in here. All right, then. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.